Well, hello everybody. Okay, there's nobody here yet, but that's okay. We're just gonna go ahead and get ourselves started. I have to clip my phone into its little holder. Get it organized. I can't do that until I start the video because then you guys can't see. This is going to be a great short and sweet video today. You guys are going to love it. We're going to make I-cord. Hi, Martha. Thanks for joining me today. So, before I get started, I can always look at the phone, but I can't watch the phone and see what you guys are saying during this video. So, if you guys have questions during this video, then I hope other people will answer for them or answer them. Anyway, so what we're going to do is we're going to make I-cord, because remember last week we made this setup bonnet and it has these holes at the bottom. Now, after the sew was over, I sewed a back stitch bind off on this bonnet. Okay. And so it is a finished good. It has a top where we can hang that on. It's got the loops standing up. It's got the bottom. We can always put a buckle on this. And then we're going to make a little tie for this. And this will be a great setup bonnet to use to make a toe-up sock. I bet you don't know where this video is going, huh? Maybe next week we'll do a toe-up. No, wait. Next week I'm taking the week off. It'll have to be the week after. Okay, so there's two ways to make I-cord. One is not a true I-cord. It's just flat fabric. And what you do is you raise up all your needles. Of course, I cleaned up because I had a lady come yesterday. And so now I won't be able to find anything. You watch. I don't even have a pick. Let me grab one. Better get a latch hook to it while I'm at it, don't you think? And you can see that's part of our old machine that we had to fix. Alright. So now, what I'm doing is I'm just going to raise up all these needles. Now, the first way to make I-cord, like I said, it's just flat fabric. We would leave 4 needles in, and you probably want to do it on the side of the machine. I'm doing it on this side over here so you guys are positioned to see it better. Okay, now remember when I want to raise all these needles, I have to crank forward and get that yarn carrier underneath these raised needles already. Now, since this is a machine that I'm not familiar with, I can already see, whoops, that this is going to be a problem, because see that needle? It just doesn't want to stay up. And that one might be the same, okay? So, if we have a needle that doesn't want to stay up, we're just going to take it out for now. And the first way to do this is to raise all these needles, cast on. Now, if you have tried to make I-cord and it hasn't been successful, then you're probably putting too much downward pressure on your knitting, okay? It doesn't take very much. In fact, it takes so little, I usually just hold it so that I don't have to fool with the weight. Now, if you've got one of those fancy little hobby knit I-cord makers, you won't even need this video. Okay. So what I'm going to do, now see where these needles aren't all the way down? They're going to cause me a problem. So this probably won't be a good option for this machine. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to spit on my yarn real good, because everybody loves somebody who spits on their yarn, right? Alright, now I'm going to get it through there. And what this is going to do, well, everything was going just fine until she started knitting. Okay. Now, if you're going to knit like this, you're going to have to knit with the heel spring on. So let's see if we can get this bad boy to work just enough to get. Okay. So if you're going to make this kind of I-cord, you're going to knit back and forth. Now see, that one didn't make a stitch. Let me get my hand out of there. So we're still casting on with waste yarn. Okay. Now, since I have to hand tension this, I'm going to have to get some sort of a weight. And I have this itty bitty tiny weight. And I'm just going to hang it on the side of the setup bonnet and see. Okay. So that, let's get a few rows made. Whoops. That just means I didn't go far enough. Just means I didn't go far enough. Back and forth, back and forth. Okay, so you can see how this I-cord, it's rolling up on itself. Okay, so it's not really I-cord, but it looks like I-cord. And that would make a fine way to close up this setup bonnet. But we're going to go ahead and take all these needles out, and you'll find out why here in just a minute. Okay, so I want to get this out of the way so that I can take these needles out. Okay, now then, to make a true I-cord, we're just going to go, now you can see how hard that is to crank forward, and that is because I have too much downward pressure, even with that itty bitty tiny weight. Okay, now I don't have any downward pressure, so let me grab a heel fork and get my yarn organized because it came apart on me up here. I wish you guys could see this because you'd be laughing. We had the little come apart going on up there. Alright, let me grab a heel fork. And it might even be too much weight. We might need one of our fishing weights with a hook on it. We'll just have to see. But I guarantee you, if you've tried I-cord and it was hard for you, okay, there it is. That's our I-cord. Whoops. Now, for some reason, that's got 2 stitches on it and it won't keep knitting. Huh, isn't that funny? I don't know why it's doing that. There we go. But remember, we haven't changed over to project yarn yet. Whoops. But we're not going to change over to project yarn until we get ourselves organized and get the right amount of downward pressure on there. Get the downward pressure even. Okay. There we go. Now, let's talk about this slowly. You can see if your yarn carrier misses the I-cord, you need to adjust your yarn carrier. A lot of times the yarn carrier needs to be adjusted way lower in order to successfully make I-cord. But if we go real slow, we know if we're going to have a problem or not. Okay, and before you know it, you've made 150 I-cord. But I'm going to be smart this time and switch over to project yarn. And I think I'll choose the hot pink because it'll look really nice with that setup bonnet that we made. And I am going to tie the waste yarn to the project yarn and pull it through. When I learned on this circular knitting machine, I had slotted yarn carriers and I didn't have to do that. But when these holes are so little and you don't have the slots, you just pull it through. Okay, now at this point we have to get the yarn out of the crank handle. Yep, that would be important. And I'm probably just going to have to go ahead and cut it. Now, the funny part is that I'm now using gardening shears. Joyce wants to know, we cleaned up because this lady was coming, and Joyce wants to know how many pairs of scissors I have hiding in my house. I'd like to know that too, but you know what? I'd really just like to find a pair. Okay, so what we can do at this point is we can take this tail and we can run it through these stitches, alright? And then we would have a closed end. Wouldn't that be cool? So maybe this time I won't slobber on my yarn. I try not to snot on it. Okay, so if the yarn's coming out on this side, we want to go through each needle. Now, just so you can see it, I'm going to try to do it backwards. It doesn't really matter. All we're doing is gathering these stitches. And then, that'll be a finished edge. Now, everybody wants to go around knitting faster and faster. But guess what? That's not very smart, people. Especially when you're just starting out. Let's take it nice and slow and easy. Soon enough, we'll be knitting as fast as we can. Now, I don't know about you, but I still can't knit I-cord this fast. Although I did knit a strand of silver, that fluffy yarn, the faux fur. I knit my own Christmas tinsel because that's what Arnie and Carlos were doing. And you know, I want to be like Arnie and Carlos because they're just so cute. And I hand knit that, a whole garland. Now see, it missed those 2 stitches, but it's just I-cord, so let's see. No, it still has 2 on that one. Oh, well, that would be because our weight's on the ground. So, get my needle off of here. I'm just going to tie a little overhand loop. Okay, now I'm going to try to hang my fork back on there without it falling off, but I still need a bit of downward pressure. So the reason we were having 2 stitches on one needle is because the battery had gone to the ground. Or the battery. No, my battery on my phone's dying. So I plugged it in. It's no big deal. Alright, off we go again. Now, I am holding hand tension on this because I want to keep the... I'm hand tensioning my yarn at the top. We're just off the camera. Let's see. And you can tell when I let go, it makes those stitches bigger. I want to try to just keep them the same. Because if I don't have my heel spring on, see what happens? It goes around, even when I go slow, it goes around and makes the yarn floppy. So you've got to use your heel spring when you're making this stuff. And you can do it 5 needles, you can do it every other needle. I mean, there's so many ways to do I-cord. If you ever get a chance to do an I-cord class with Jenny Dieters, oh my gosh. And there's so much you can do with I-cord. Okay, now see that one didn't knit, so I'm going to let 2 of them knit. No, I'm not. I just made a loop. It's just a cord. And back on the ground, yes. Let's see if we can make, now see how it looks? It's a nice fat I-cord. Let's see if we can just hang that fork right there and make it work. Okay. Okay, now see there's a problem here? My fork got caught up on the little lip on the inside. I would have never got that if I was going too fast. Alright. So when we're finished, I'm going to grab my darning needle, cut my yarn. And I'm going to do the same thing. Now I finished on this side, so I want to run the needle through the opposite end needle first. If that was confusing, watch and see, because a picture is always worth so many words. So I can put my needle through there, come over here, put my needle through here, and you know what? I can take this fork off now. That'll make it easier to go through those stitches. Put my needle through here, and my needle through here. Then we can just lift this off and pull on that. And then I can do like a little half-hitch knot right there, just to make sure that that's all going to stay. So we have a cord that has bound ends on each end. So, with it still threaded, but I can take it off. Let's take it off the other end. Give that a pull and maybe a half hitch. Gardening shears are not the recommended type of scissors, just so you know. Alright, now let's make sure. It's kind of cute, but it's not working, is it? Okay, so it's not working. So one thing we could do is tie a knot right here. It's got those cute little loopies like a flower. Normally that works out for me. Maybe I was pulling the wrong thing. I don't know. That's a mess. Whoops, did you guys see my mess? Alright, so now I still have this needle threaded, and I'm just going to weave it in and out of these holes all the way around. Okay. Oops. There we go. Now we can pull this together, draw it together like a little drawstring bag, and tie a little bow right there. And we can put our soft weight down in this setup on it. Which that's what we'll do the next time we meet together on Tuesdays. But it won't be next week, it'll be the following week. Alright, you guys, thanks so much, and I hope you have a great day, and happy cranking to everybody.